Yep, it's another Z06 video. In the last video, we took this thing for its first drive under my ownership, and God knows how many years since the original motor blew up. Car seems to run and drive perfect. Drives really nice, everything works, it does what it's supposed to do. Oil temp's good, coolant temps, oil pressure, everything. So we're almost there. Mechanically, I think this thing is pretty much done, but we couldn't beat on it. And you guys that have been around cars like this know that, you do modifications, you're changing airflow and timing and things like that, cam timing. You don't really want to beat on it unless you know what's going on with the computer's ECU, or the car's ECU. So long story short, the last thing we got to do in this thing is good old fashioned dyno tune. So I have an appointment tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. to get this thing dyno tuned with a tuner that I've been taking my cars to for years. There's a couple things I'd like to do before we load this thing up to take it there. One, I haven't been under this thing since we first started it. I'd like to check, make sure there's no leaks have sprung up. I don't think so. Garage floor where it's been parked is bone dry, so I don't expect to see anything, but good idea to give it a once over, make sure that everything, nothing's rubbing, nothing's leaking, everything looks good there. And two, if you remember, I also put some cheap conventional oil in this thing just for the first few miles of break-in, wear those new bearings in and rings if the cylinders were honed, which they were. I think I probably have about 50 miles on it at this point, multiple heat cycles. I think the clutch is probably broken in. I think it's time to dump that oil, put some good synthetic oil, good filter in there. We can make sure we're ready for the dyno appointment tomorrow. So, already got this thing on the lift. Let's get it up in the air, take a peek underneath, get some fresh oil in it. Let's take a peek. Oh yeah. Bone dry. No leaks. Don't see anything rubbing or chafing. Nothing burning. Nothing rubbing over here that I can see. I don't even see any leaks from these Chinese band clamps here, so we'll take that. Everything looks good. There's our new clutch in there. Yeah, everything looks good. Again, not really surprising. Car's been driving perfect and hasn't been leaving any spots on my, garage floor, which is this is the type of garage floor you could very easily tell when something's leaking. My fiance comes in here all the time, and if my car leaves one drop of oil on the ground, she's the first one to be like, "What's that? What's wrong with that car?" And then I gotta tell her that just means there's oil in it. Not this one though. This one's leak free. So that being said, let's make a leak via the drain pan there. Get some fresh oil in this thing, and then I think I'm gonna load this thing on the trailer. Normally I just drive this thing to the dyno because I'm pretty confident in how well it's running right now. But as you can see, we've got some smoked Nitto NT01s that are not only hard as a rock, but also completely bald. And there might be some rain and or ice and salt and snow tomorrow. So we got the trailer, just gonna trailer it. So let's get this oil dumped. I think I'm gonna load the car up tonight, so we'll see how much you guys can see. But either way, I'll catch you guys in the morning on the way to the dyno. Looks like brand new oil. Pretty much is, but if there was a problem in the first 50 miles of a new motor, you'd know it in this oil change. So that's perfect to see that. No material at all. And I know I mentioned this in the first video, but for you C6, Z06 guys, or dry sump guys in general, remember, 2 drain plugs. Drain this one too. Because if you only drain one of them and then put 8 quarts back in, you're in for a bad time. So we'll let this finish draining. Do the other one, get a filter on there. 8 quarts of fresh oil. We'll be good to go. morning. We are on our way with the Z06 to Performance Dyno in Loudon, New Hampshire. My buddy Josh, who's tuned all of my vehicles, all my LS vehicles over the years, is going to be working his magic on this Heads Cam LS7. Our appointment's at 9 o'clock. We're on schedule to be there about 15 minutes early so I can unload the car, get it warmed up, and we'll get this thing done. Can't wait to see what it puts down. See you guys there. Well, we made it to Performance Dyno. I'm just waiting for Josh to get here, enjoying the heat, my heated seat, letting this thing warm up a little bit. But we'll get this thing strapped down and start making some pulls. All right, car's all strapped down on the dyno. Josh has tuned all of my LS vehicles, as I mentioned earlier, and this is probably one of the more simple ones I've brought him. Just a Heads Cam LS7. He's tuned my silver turbo C6. My black twin turbo C6 with two different setups. First one being a radical Heads Cam LS7 setup with a ported Mammo, 102mm throttle body, big headers, E85, ported heads, milled heads. Even more radical than this. Then my, the twin turbo setup on that car. As far as things that I've brought Josh in the past, this should be one of the more simple setups, but we'll see. We're just working on the bass tune a little bit right now, and we'll get rolling. All right, she's rolling on the dyno. Bass tune's loaded. Let's see what happens. All right, well, we just finished the first pull, only to about 5,000 RPM. 540 horsepower. Totally forgot to talk about power numbers. This is a pretty basic Heads Cam setup, stock intake, stock throttle body. I would expect power to be between 550 and 600, but it is really cold today. It's like 32 degrees out, so who knows what we'll see, but first pull, only to 5,000 RPM, that's a very strong number, so it's a good sign. Josh is making some corrections to the tune right now, and we'll make another pull. Second pull, 581, 553 foot-pounds of torque. Going up. All right, guys, I think that was our last pull. Josh basically nailed the tune from the beginning. 591. 557, super smooth curve, rock solid air fuel ratio. Yeah, let's get this thing unloaded here, or off the dyno anyways. All right, we're all loaded up, headed back from the dyno. Could not have asked for that to have gone better. Just did like 4, maybe 5 pulls, nailed the tune down, 591 horsepower to the tire. What did that say, 553? I'll have to look at the dyno sheet, but right where I expected it to be for a basic heads cam LS7, anywhere from 550 to 600, so definitely closer to the upper end of that. Makes good smooth power all throughout the curve. No issues on the dyno, no mechanical issues, nothing. Just very, very smooth. We did some drivability tuning after we got it off the rollers. Car drives great, as good as a massive cam car can drive. So yeah, very, very good. Very, very happy with that. It is going to be a very fun street car. 600 horsepower to the tire in a 3,000-pound Z06, C6 Z06. You guys who have driven them before, you know they're an absolute blast. But I don't know if I'll have time today, but hopefully the weather the next day or two cooperates. I'll get you guys out there, go for a ride in this thing, and see what it's really like now that it's fully tuned. So let's get this thing back and we'll go from there. Good morning, everyone. A couple days later, we got back from the dyno. Car made awesome power. I'll put up the dyno sheet right here so you guys can see it. 591 horsepower and what, 540 or something torque to the tire. Great power for a heads cam C6 Z06 or heads cam L7. Still stock intake manifold, stock throttle body, 1 7/8 inch headers. Very, very common, but on the upper end of it, so very, very good power. Couldn't be happier. Dyno went super smooth. We did a little bit of street tuning afterwards. Hot starts are good, cold starts are good. Drives pretty nice for as big of a cam as it is, so no complaints. But it is 31 degrees out. It was in the low 20s overnight, so the roads are freezing cold. We have absolutely probably no chance for traction today, but there's some snow in the forecast in the next couple hours, so I'm getting out here while I can to drive this thing and see how it really feels. We know it does well on the dyno, but I've been itching to just have that, NA LS7 power again. It's a lot of fun. Again, see if we get any traction, but we're gonna have some fun regardless. So the car's warming up right now, oil's getting up to temp. Let's go beat on this thing a little bit. All right, second gear stab, 40 miles an hour. Let's see. Nope. Shoo! Knew that was gonna happen. Just instantly roast them. Maybe we need to warm these tires up a little bit. We'll give that a shot. let's try a second gear pull here. This thing has so much torque, power. Let's see. All right, 40 roll. Here we go. Roll into it. Oh. Woo! God damn! Unreal. I've got an 1100 horsepower twin turbo Z06, and these NA Z06s just hit so hard. This thing, she runs awesome, all the power in the world. But let's get it home, give this thing a break. Woo! Never gets old, never gets old. Where else are you gonna get a smile like that? Not driving your Prius, probably not driving your Tesla either. Only with 427 cubic inches of LS7 fire-breathing American muscle. That was a blast. Very successful couple days here. Dyno went perfect, car put down great power, it runs awesome, it is extremely fast, and it is a ton of fun to drive. I think the car is basically completely mechanically sorted, but we have got a lot of cosmetics to dive into. We still got some videos left on this thing. We got a lot of cosmetics to tackle, including some body damage on the rear. We're gonna have a complete transformation on this thing on the exterior. And I can't wait to show you guys this thing when it's done. So make sure you tune in for the next couple videos. Thank you guys as always very much for watching. Appreciate your comments and likes and support. We'll see you in the next one.